What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Jaybird The Ginge show. I am the Ginge. Beside me is the Jaybird.
What?
And our lovely guest, Brent.
Get this shit out here. You can't see my face.
So this week's episode is going to be about rap collabs. We're going to try to hit on some cool rap collabs that we like, some that we're going to try to put them up against each other maybe, but the main goal is just to hit on, from verse to verse, what songs had the best flow, which guys worked well together, which songs really didn't work well together. So I'm going to start it off with a couple songs I like, see what they think, and then we'll go from there. So one of the songs, I think, one of the earliest collabs we got was Straight Outta Compton from NWA. You get the coolest intro ever from Ice Cube. From there you get Easy, and then you get MC Ren. And out of those three, you probably got three totally different styles of rap, but you also got three rappers or a song that's cohesive. So what do you guys think? Did you guys like Straight Outta Compton? Was NWA a group that you guys listened to? Was it something that you guys... Is it as much of a linchpin in the rap industry as it's given credit for? What do you think about NWA and Straight Outta Compton?
Well, I think the biggest strength that NWA has working for them is that it's a group of guys that grew up together and they write together and they produce their beats together. I think that's like, one of the things that works really well with like D12 is like these guys came up together and they grew into their own individual artists together. So it's way easier for them to have cohesiveness than if like you called up another rapper that's just on the same record label as you and was like, hey, you want to do a feature on this song? Yeah. Being able to like grow up together and experience the same stuff, I think really helped them, and that's part of the reason why they were such a tight-knit group with their performances, with their recordings, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like whenever they grew up, like they started out young, so whenever they started out young and they all had their best ideas to come out of, they built off it, and then once they got their first banger, then they just started getting hungry and just started producing a lot more.
Now, do you think that? So you say about another guy coming on a track, like calling up someone else who's already famous, and those two working on a song together, as far as a collaboration. That makes me think of Renegade from Jay-Z and Eminem. There isn't as much of a cohesive flow from verse to verse. When Jay's verse hits and then when M's verse hits, it's almost like they're two different songs. Like the content's different. But the passion that comes out of the Straight Outta Compton song, maybe it's just because the song's literally called Straight Outta Compton. The content is three guys straight out of Compton. Where Renegade, Jay may have one take on what a renegade is, and M has a different take on it. I think there's still success in both songs. I think there's a lot of the Renegade song still carries 20 years later.
That's what I was gonna say. I listen to all different genres of music. So whenever I put a song on my top 5 songs of all time, that's got to be an amazing song. And Renegade is in my top 3 favorite songs of all time. I think that Renegade has some of Jay's best verses and some of Eminem's best verses.
Yeah.
And they're two of the best rappers. So if you take two of the best rappers to ever do it with two of their best verses that they've ever written and put it all in one song, that's insane. Even though stylistically they're different rappers, and I think that's where you get that not choppiness, but where you get that it sounds like two different songs kind of thing.
And I think when you say that, you almost have to have two of the greatest given their greatest for it to be solid. Like, we've seen attempt after attempt after attempt of guys of doing collaborations that they really just don't work. Kendrick has been called in for song after song over the last 5 years. Some hit and some don't. Like Goosebumps, is that the song that he does with Travis Scott?
Yeah.
Awesome. But not every song Kendrick hops on is going to be better because Kendrick's on it. It will be, but it's not going to be a great song. I think Kendrick's great, but I don't think you have to put him on everything. And just like the same problem they had with like Lil Wayne back in the day.
The same thing with Kanye. They did that too. Put Kanye on every song.
And it works to a certain extent, makes the song alright, but it's not going to be something you carry over from like playlist to playlist. Where Renegade is a great song, regardless of the choppiness or the flow. So I'll do another song here and see what you guys think. From that era, you kind of transition with Straight Outta Compton to the mid-'90s with like California Love, and Dre became much more mainstream and a bigger focus, and his focus became collaborating and with other artists, and that's where you get Tupac and Robert Troutman,
Snoop Dogg,
all the stuff with Snoop Dogg. Yeah, like so Nothing But a G thing. Like that was one of the best collabs ever. I think the opening verse from Nothing But a G thing with Snoop Dogg is probably his best verse ever. Like, Gin and Juice is great, but that's when Snoop's at his best with Dre. So, but get back to California Love. Like, I think California Love is almost the song of the 90s, and it's a rap collab. And I think that's why we've seen so much success from that almost genre of having multiple voices in a song. So, California Love, what do you guys think? What did you get out of that song?
I thought it was like, at the beginning of it, it actually opened the door for a lot more songs to come out, because at its time it was actually mind blowing. Like,
yeah.
you think of it, no one really thought of going with a Road Warrior style of music video, and they made it work together. And that was whenever Tupac was like almost at his peak, pretty much.
Yeah, that was like the peak of that West Coast rap, almost, that video, and the title of the song, the entire like premise of the song. And I think the flow we got from Dre to Tupac in that song, like Dre kind of sets it up like he does everything with that intro verse, like he does with Forget About Dre. Yeah. And then Tupac just comes in and fucking nails it. Like, how does he come into California Love? So it's like, I'm losing it. I'm drawing a blank. I'm on camera. So anyway, but Tupac goes in hard, and then when you think about Forget About Dre, Eminem goes in hard right after Dre comes in. So I think California Love was probably one of the stronger collabs of the 90s. We'll go to another era, though, because it changes from era to era. So you go with like the early 90s where it was the more gangster rap to the mid 90s where it was more of a production, and that almost leads to like Mo Money, Mo Problems. So you have like Biggie, and then you have Mace and Diddy all on one track. I think that song was like the East Coast's version of California Love almost. It was right before Biggie. That came out right before Biggie had died, I think. So that was Mace's biggest song, and then he fell off.
Before we get too far into the next era, I wanted to go back to look at another group, like two groups actually. The one you had on your list was Run DMC when they did the mashup with Aerosmith and Walk This Way. Yeah. You know, I think that those kind of collaborations are cooler than the features, because you take two different music genres and you marry them, and you get, you know, there's people that, you know, might not have liked hip-hop music, but whenever the Run DMC version of Walk This Way came out, they were bumping that. If that came on the radio, they weren't going to turn it. Yep. And, you know, vice versa, that might have turned a lot of people on to a different style of music that they might not have been listening to if they were just hip-hop centric listeners. And another cool collaboration, because I know that Rick Rubin was involved in that, and he's the king of collaborations with you know, rock music and hip hop music.
Yeah, because he's produced Chili Peppers and the Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
you know,
and that was the other collaboration I was going to bring up was No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Yep. They got Kerry King from Slayer to come play guitar on that song.
That's
and
like
cool. You don't. Whenever you, I mean, I don't. If all the listeners are hip hop fans, you guys probably don't know who Kerry King is. But having Kerry King do anything hip hop related, you just.
Not happening.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that those kind of collaborations are even cooler than the features. Is whenever you get, you know, a music producer or somebody to come work with a hip hop artist that's not typically a hip hop guy.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. That's Tupac when it comes into California Love. I have been dying.
I needed it. I brought that up so you had time to think.
Needed it. Yeah. All right. So you talk about tying rock and rap together. I think of two groups.
Limp Bizkit.
Fred Durst.
I like Limp Bizkit, but I mean I'm thinking personally something else. It was
Jay-Z and Linkin Park.
No, I'm thinking the older era, Bring the Noise with Anthrax.
Yes.
Scott Ian. Hell yeah, yep. Chuck D.
Absolutely, yep.
Bass, how low can you go? See, like it's like that one. Whenever it came out, no one really thought of like, oh, all right, well, we got rap and then we got rock, but it actually melded together like really.
And that was the cool thing. I think, you know, I like Limp Bizkit too, but I think that the reason that people look at them as being like corny and stuff is because that they weren't really great musicians. Good musicians, sure. Wes Borland, okay guitar player, sure.
Yeah.
And they weren't great rappers.
No.
But these other mashups that we're talking about, you took really great musicians and really great rappers and put them on songs together. And yeah, I totally forgot about Bring the Noise.
When I think rock music has really hit a decline since that early 90s, mid-90s, like you're not going to see the grunge era ever collab with rap, but metal like you got from Slayer or Anthrax, you could. Now, the rap back then was more punchy, though, than it is now. Now it's more sampled.
Right.
And I feel like
that aggressive, emotion-filled rap.
That's where it came from,
and
though,
the
almost.
aggressive, emotion-filled metal, they were, kind of meant to be together.
Exactly. So, that being said, I have no issue with not having that today because I don't think today's music really relates enough to, or the music, those two genres don't mesh as well as they used to. And I think Lil Wayne ruined rock and rap together when he picked up an electric guitar.
That's Kid Rock's fault.
But Kid Rock's to blame for a lot of shit. So, like, the entire music industry post Ba with Ba.
Hey, hands down, one of my favorite summer songs all summer long. All right.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Sipping funny things and smoking funny things.
If we're talking about 90s really good collabs, the song Fuck Off with him and Eminem on the Devil Without a Cause album.
Okay.
That song is really, really good.
But that's the argument that any track you put Kendrick on or M on, that they instantly make better.
But that was before Eminem was making every song he was on better.
But M's always made every song better. Like, even back, like, his early shit with Exhibit and Dre and him, they did the song
and
What's
Obi.
the Difference? So, like, Eminem's a one-of-a-kind dude, just like Dre's a one-of-a-kind producer. So those guys changed the game. Is there a favorite Eminem collab you have?
I'm thinking of one right now.
For sure, Renegade. I said that earlier. That's
fair.
That's it.
Now, see, I think M's best collab is Love Game with Kendrick, just because you get both of them together, and it's humorous. It's got a really good flow to it. It's not too serious. It's not them trying to compete where they could, and ultimately they still get a really good product. And I think Love Game it's relevant now. It's still modern, but it's gonna carry. It's something that has some kind of staying power. So that's my favorite M collab.
Probably mine would probably be Big Sean, No Favors, with Eminem in it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like Big Sean. He has some pretty good. I mean, granted, he doesn't come out with everything that he comes out with isn't really that good. I mean, he comes out with some pretty cool songs. I like him.
So let's
Fucks with it.
Let's stay with M a little bit and go to the song Forever. Now, this came out, I think, in 2009, and it starts with Drake.
It was everybody's peak.
Yeah.
Everybody in there, like Eminem coming out of his prime,
Yep.
but reminding people that he's
still the best on the track.
Still the best there is, and he's about to make his comeback.
Yeah.
But the other three guys in their prime.
This is Drake's, like, intro to, I think, the music industry. I mean, you had some other songs he had done prior, but Drake didn't get this big
Which
yet.
is crazy. Like, can you just sit for a second and try to imagine a rapper that comes out with, just drops a mixtape, and then on his full-length LP album, he gets a song with Kanye, Eminem, and Lil Wayne when they are all multi-platinum selling that same year, and gets all three of them on a song and holds his own on the song. I don't like Drake, but that song and the stuff off his first album or two,
Fire.
9 a.m. in Dallas.
yeah, awesome.
July is a really good song with Jenny Aiko that no one talks about. That's a really cool song. Like, so Drake's first name was the greatest last name ever.
Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with.
Love it. So
Bars.
Drake was great on that track, and Lil Wayne was good. Kanye's was the worst.
Good.
Kanye's was the worst, and then so I can't say they're all great. Like, they were all good.
Great. They were all great.
No, Kanye was garbage on that track.
That's not true.
I couldn't stand Kanye on that track. Kanye's best stuff is like his very first album. So
that's insane. Kanye's first three albums are some of the best hip hop music ever made.
I'm not a big
All
Kanye
three
guy.
of them.
I'm not. I think so. We'll talk about Kanye next. My favorite Kanye collab is "Touch the Sky" with Lupe. Like,
that album, that whole was that Late Registration? Is that the album?
I think so.
That
Like,
whole album is just just hit after hit after hit after hit, because that's the same album that had Flashing Lights on it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Homecoming was on that album too.
Homecoming, straight rip-off of I Used to Love Her by Common. Circa like 95. That whole first verse is talking about...
I sold 1 million records. I ain't been rapping like Common Sense. Common's garbage.
Common is
That's a
not
Jay-Z
garbage.
line, by the way.
Common is not garbage.
Whoa. Chill.
Garbage.
No, so we'll talk about another collab. Respiration got Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and Common. Arguably my favorite rap song ever. I think those two, the first two, don't get enough credit. And Common's verse on that is awesome. He says, "I choreographed 7 steps to heaven and hell, waiting to exhale and make the bread leaven." What? My circumstances between Cabrini and Love Jones, surrounded by hate, yet I love home. Common. Okay, so... Okay, let's do another song. What do we got? The Whole World, Outkast. I think this is Outkast Peak featuring Killer Mike. Remember that song, that video?
Outkast. I know they're on everybody's list. I don't.
Andre 3000, top
Andre
5.
from Outkast. I know. I don't know.
No, the Killer Mike has a line in that. He says, "Catch a beat running like Randy Moss." How's that go? Glitter, glisten, gloss, floss. I catch a beat running like Randy Moss. Like, dope. This is like 99. So that music video, the production, we talk about the production of California Love, but the production of that music video is what made music videos really cool. They are like, it's black lighted, they got the face paint on and the sugar skulls on their face. It's dope as fuck.
Just to jump in on that, that's another thing that I've always thought about is the rappers today make so many like pop culture references that 15 to 20 years from now, the songs
dated.
can't hold up because people don't get the references.
Yeah.
And even Eminem is super guilty of that now.
Absolutely.
He makes so many references and metaphors and puns that are pop culture related, but when you listen to his first couple albums, like, he still did it, but he had more songs on his first couple albums, I guess just because he had more stuff to be pissed off about and more stories to tell. That's one of the reasons why Tupac's music holds up so well, is because he's telling stories.
Yeah, that's
about
fair.
Stuff.
Tupac's one of a kind, though. Eminem's, it's still funny to me to hear him say, "Have me switch chairs and put me next to Carson Daly and
so
Fred
I can
Durst."
sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst and hear argue who she gave that to first.
Like, that's funny to me, because I know who Fred Durst and Carson Daly are and who they were in that era.
But you play that song for somebody that's 15. I don't know what the fuck that means.
It's
What's
just too
MTV?
Yeah, exactly. MTV is that with the Jersey Shore. Like,
They play music on there?
that shit won't hold up. But The Way I Am, a song like that should hold up forever.
Okay, that's fair. So to get back to our main topic of collabs, when you guys listen to a collab, what do you look for? Do you look for something that's going to have multiple rappers featured that you like? Or is it something you'd rather just, like, if a song comes on a Pandora, are you less likely to skip it because it has rappers you like, or are you going to give it a chance even if you don't know who they are? Like, is that important to you?
It depends on the beat. If the beat comes out and it's and you're like, you feeling it, and like next thing you know, someone can come out with a verse that's like shit, and I'm like instantly turning off. But if they come out and they're actually throwing bars and they got a really nice hook, you're right in there. You're gonna be stuck listening to that song, and next thing you know, it's on repeat.
So if Dre wasn't in NWA, would you have liked NWA?
Most likely, I'm an Eazy-E fan.
Dre made the beats.
But Dre made the beats.
Yeah.
So
I probably still would like him.
Everybody fucks with NWA though.
But that's what I was gonna say. The same thing. What I think is cool about collabs and features and all that is hearing different rappers have their take on the beat. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about the song before the show, Monster. I hate Nicki Minaj. She's absolute garbage. But the song Monster, I like Rick Ross.
Yep.
I don't like Rick Ross's verse on Monster. But Nicki Minaj's verse on Monster kills it. Yep. She absolutely murders it. Probably one of her best verses that she's ever done. So I like to hear, even if somebody has a shitty verse like Jay was saying, I won't turn it off if I like the beat, just because I want to hear how everybody else
At least
has their take on it. Because like Lil Wayne, the way Lil Wayne raps and the way Eminem raps, two totally different things. But they've done multiple songs together, and doesn't matter what the beat is, both their styles work on it. So I like seeing rappers make their style work on a beat.
We talk about styles and them being different, and I think about Poetic Justice from Kendrick and Drake. And Kendrick starts the song off, and it sounds like it flows so nicely in that entire Good Kid, Mad City album. Like, it's a concept album. The album from start to finish is a movie. They could make a movie about that album. And so Poetic Justice, it flows right in. Like, I think Money Trees is before it on the album, and it goes right into Poetic Justice, and it starts out with a Kendrick verse and a chorus, and then Drake just slides right in. And Drake is dope on that song. He's dope. And if I'm Kendrick, I don't really want Drake on my first LP, but it helped. And this song was probably one of the best sellers off that album. It didn't need Drake on it. It still would have been good because Kendrick's dope, but... What's the, he talks about being in a sundress. His line in that song, something about a sundress. Drake. But anyway, I think you can have two different styles on a track and it still be good. Just like Kendrick sings the hook in The City for a song that The Game does called The City. And then at the very, very end, Kendrick finally gets to show himself. And it's like a 1 minute freestyle and it's amazing. So...
Listen, as long as we put Drake, we're going to be all right as long as we put Drake on every hook.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Drake has to sing in every song.
That's
All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I'm going to let you guys name one collab we didn't talk about if you have one that you would want the fans to listen if they've never heard it before. So, Brent, we'll start with you.
I think Kanye and Jay-Z's African Americans in Paris. I think it works so well because Kanye did a lot of production stuff for Jay-Z too, like throughout his entire career, even before Kanye started recording his own music. So I think it's really cool to get Kanye's beats and Jay-Z's rapping together for an entire album. And there's really there's hit songs on the album, there's songs that weren't hit songs, but the whole album, start to finish, really is a there's not a song on the album that if it comes on, you're like, man, this is absolute garbage. I gotta turn this off. You could sit and listen to that whole album and be entertained from start to finish.
Yeah.
That album actually, I like that album. I listened to that a lot. One of my favorite songs off that was Ham. Ham went beat on that,
and that's what made that saying go pop. I'm about to go ham.
Mine would probably be The Game, and I was just thinking Common, Angel.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. I like that one. I think LAX Files, I believe.
It's a good album. People need to check that out.
Game goes hard.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you two because I'm in charge. And this is they're throwbacks for my friend Avery out there. So if you're listening, you'll like these. I got Scenario from A Tribe Called Quest with Busta Rhymes, circa 1991. This is like Busta Rhymes with baby dreads. And then you got I Ain't No Joke from Eric B and Rakim. So if you're an old head, you know those songs. If you're not, check them out because they deserve some credit. So that's everything from the Jaybird and the Ginge show this week. I hope you guys liked it. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. We are part of the network called Fortress of Solid Dudes. So check that podcast out if you're into white nerdy dudes. And Jay and Fern. All right. Peace.
Later.
Thanks, guys.